So, what do we have today? Well, on the first account, it would seem that the primary consideration under J.P. Morgan Chase, which tears to the period in which we're speaking, we have a report from a conference, presumably on renewable energy, that just so happens to be dated for 1 month to the day after the 1 year anniversary of a series of notices on the website for the Senator of California discussing two matters. One set of documents provided on the Senator's website and dated for 1 month before, 1 month before what would be 1 year anniversary of this, or rather, 1 year later would be 1 month before this one. Documents associated with a witness list that had been posted regarding the trial of impeachment against the president, person who was president at the time. And it just so happened that that posting itself was on the 2 year anniversary of a proxy statement from a uranium company. Now, uranium may be considered a renewable energy source. I'm not sure it is. At least not yet, right? But it is also considered to be, I believe, of concern regarding the fact that the other documents posted on that same senator site at the time were regarding concerns associated with an organization called Cambridge Analytica. My understanding is that this organization provided some consulting services during the election season of 2016. But the other thing about that is that the anniversary of information concerning Cambridge Analytica correlated with what was previously available in an SEC statement for a company called Cambridge Biologics that by the early 1990s was discussing how it was patenting a specific protein that it had discovered in the DNA that it was extracting in regards to trying to develop treatments for HIV. Now, that company is not based out of the same city, but had other points of intersection. That happens to be on the first account. What's on the second account? Well, what are the reference points for today for that second account? I took the position that would have been appropriate for what had been going on in terms of what allowed for me to actually log into my own account. And what do I got? A website I've never encountered before regarding tracking Russian speaking foreign fighters in Syria. It just so happens that this is dated for what would be 7 years before a recent presentation, series of documents, and a formal presentation of an index from Fannie Mae regarding housing, specifically single family housing. And the title is The Strange Tale of Muslim Shishini Part 3, FSB Accused of Attempting His Kidnap, describing somebody that is alleged to be involved with a smuggling operation from Chechnya. This absolutely fits the pattern. I mean, somebody wants to talk about withdrawal the day after. Do you mean November 25th? Let us go back to the source, because this itself is a flip from another account and just so happens to have a very racialized component. What do I get in this book? You know, this is what's important about this. Cross-referencing, especially for time-spatial displacement. What do we have here? What do we have? Sigtarp's fortunes seemed to take a turn for the better when that same week we received a letter from Barty Frank, the colorful chair of the powerful House Financial Services Committee. Frank, who was a Democrat, had helped deliver the necessary votes to Paulson to get TARP passed, but he had quickly become a vocal critic of the way Treasury was carrying out the bailout. Frank was unhappy with Treasury's failure to live up to its early promises that it would use TARP to help stem the tidal wave of foreclosures sweeping the country and to spur lending by the banks. With the Democrats now firmly in control of Washington, Frank figured to be a key, if unpredictable, player in our little bailout universe. Do I need to keep reading? I'm going to keep reading. The letter which Frank also sent to the media was a strong endorsement of our audit of the bank's use of TARP money. Kevin and I congratulated each other. We were doing what we thought was the right thing. We hadn't been fired yet, and with a similar public endorsement of the audit by Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, we had now garnered public support from both sides of the aisle. That morning, I also received good news that Senator McCaskill's bill enhancing SIG-TARP's jurisdiction and granting us full law enforcement authority was about to be officially dropped, introduced to the floor, and could be voted on as soon as the following week. It is, what day is it today? It is the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. It is Wednesday. I see. I did give a deadline by the end of the day on April 19th, 2021. That's plenty of time for something just as formal. What do we have here? Public endorsement of the audit regarding full cooperation with law enforcement, as well as an enhancement of jurisdiction provided by another senator. Now that's two. Would two potentially be witness enough as a means by which to establish that anybody identifying themselves as a current member of the United States Senate has any constitutional authority? Well, I guess we have some time to find out.